Namaskar. Today we will discuss about the 10 incarnations of Lord Vishnu and how they are drawing their energy from various planets, how various planetary energies are visible in those incarnations. As we all know, in Vedic astrology there are 10 planets including Lagna, and each planet has some typical characteristics which is visible not only in these incarnations but every person on this earth, every person born has got energy of a particular planet which is very predominant in his chart, and characteristics those characteristics are highly pronounced in these incarnations of Lord Vishnu. For example, Lord Rama is born with energy of sun, and sun is the ultimate source, because sun is the ultimate source of light, the light that gives knowledge, and with that knowledge we can discriminate between what is right and what is wrong. So that level of righteousness is seen in people with predominant energy of sun, and Lord Rama, being incarnation of sun, having the maximum energy of sun, said to be uh, said to be that incarnation of Lord Vishnu that has characteristics of sun. And the main important point here is the righteousness and establishing social norms. And for the sake of social norms, even he has to let go of his wife. As we all know, it is a famous uh, famous story everyone in India knows. Okay, so that level of righteousness that Lord Rama showed, it is shown in a story that there was a washerman in Ayodhya, and he was not ready to take back his wife because his wife has stayed for one night somewhere else, and he was not ready to trust his wife, and giving an argument that I'm not I'm not Rama, that I'll take you back even if you have stayed somewhere else. So hearing this, Lord Rama became very distressed, and he understood that because it is important to save the social norms, just by taking examples of uh, of this instance, there could be social unrest in the society, and to just uphold the righteousness and to uphold the dharma, he basically forsake his wife, and Sita has to go in the jungle. So that was the level of righteousness. He will he is ready to uh, he is ready to give up his personal benefits and personal pleasures for the larger good and for upholding the social norms. So that is the level of righteousness that is shown in people with good sun, with having positive sun. Okay. So now, what is the purpose of associating a particular deity uh, mm, to a particular planet? So the thing is that uh, if you have if you are undergoing dasha of a particular evil planet, then by propitiating these deities you can reduce the ill effects of that particular dasha. And if you are undergoing good effects of a particular planet, then you can enhance the goodness, you can enhance the positive results. So it works both the ways. That is the purpose. Okay. And So it is important that we understand what all deities are there, especially those who are into worshipping Vishnu Dasavatar. This is very important because then they can chant mantras and stotra and kavach of a particular Dasavatar and get positive, reap positive results, positive benefits. So, likewise, so taking into account the next incarnation, that is moon. Okay, so the whole energy of moon comes from the avatar of Vishnu, Krishna, because moon is the night energy. Okay, so night is uh, linked with all shady things, and it is not truly about righteousness, but it is about getting the results by either by hook or crook. So there is a saying that it if it ends well, it's well. Okay, all's well that ends well. So that is shown here, and so for Krishna, he will he can go, he can do something wrong or something that may look apparently illegal or illegitimate, as long as the end result is fine. Whereas this is not the case with Rama. He will be very righteous, he will do things right way, and in the end also it should be right. So that is the difference with Lord Rama. Okay. For example, there is a story for Krishna that once um, the once Duryodhan was called by his mother to his mother Gandhari is blindfolded since her marriage, and she has got enormous power in her eyes, in her vision. So if she sees somebody with her eyes, then basically she can impart invincibility to that body part. So she asked Duryodhan to come um, as he was born, like naked, so that she can see him and impart all the invincibility to him. And Lord Krishna, he came to know about this. So when Duryodhan was going to the camp of Gandhari, he meets him in between and he tells him that, okay, you are a grown up man, you should not go naked like this in front of, even though she is your mother, but you are a grown up man, so you should at least cover your private parts. And Duryodhan does that. So when Gandhari sees him, then all the part becomes invincible, but the the private part. And the next day when he fights with Bhima, then Bhim basically uh, breaks his thighs. So again, so you can see that, okay, so the end is good because this is what should have happened, but the way to achieve is a bit crooked. So that is the way of moon. Okay, and just like moon has fullness sometimes, and sometimes it is devoid of any light. So in the same way, and also the light of moon is not his own, it is just a reflected light from sun. So that kind of nature is seen with Lord Krishna. So he is said to be born with the energy of moon. Then then Narsimha-avatar is basically very brutal energy, and it is said to be having incarnation of planet Mars, because Mars is a warrior, and Mars is linked with bloodshed and brutality, violence. So that kind of nature is seen in the Narsimha-avatar, because Lord Vishnu takes this avatar to rescue his devotee, Bhakt Prahlad. And because Bhakt Prahlad's father Hiranyakashipu, he was demon king, Rakshasa king, and he did not like his own son to worship Vishnu. In fact, he has forbade everyone in his country to worship Vishnu, but his own son, he was very reluctant. He did not mend his ways, and just to save him, Bhagwan Vishnu has to take Narsimha-avatar, and Narsimha-avatar um, is half lion and half human. So Hiranyakashipu had a boon that he will not be killed by any man or any beast. He will not be killed during day or during night. He will not be killed by any weapon, like that. So there were a lot of conditions. He was very intelligent, but there is somebody more intelligent than an evil person. So Lord Vishnu took Nrsimha-avatar, which is half wild and half human, and then rip him open uh, just at the in the evening, just at the sunset. So that way, basically, this level of brutality is seen in Nrsimha-avatar, which is basically Martian energy. So that's why he's said to be coming from the nature of Mars. From so that time, Earth was deep down in the ocean, and Varahavatar comes with his tusk and he takes the Earth out, and after that, uh, it again flourishes. So basically, that shows an immense desire to perform certain activity. And we all know that Rahu and Ketu, they are not really planets. They are just mathematical points. So when Sun is in such alignment with Moon and Earth, that uh, the shadow of Moon, shadow of Earth, and the Sun. Okay, so uh, basically that shadow, extreme shadow, darkest part of Earth comes to Rahu. So Earth is considered to be Jiva, and Sun is the Paramatma, the soul. Okay, so Jiva's maximum darkness point comes to Rahu. Okay, and at the extreme opposite point, where there is lot of light, such a light which is very blinding, that is Ketu. Okay, so Rahu comes with that extreme ignorance, extreme darkness, and that extreme darkness is denoted by Rahu. Okay, so that darkness, that desire, basically causes a jiva to take birth in this world. So Rahu represents the main purpose of your life, the main ignorance, the main desire for which you have taken birth. If you are all light, you will not take birth. If you are all light, then then avatars take birth. Okay, they are born with full light, but normal human beings, they are born with desires. Okay, so that desire is shown in the Varah-avatar. Then coming to Jupiter, so Jupiter's energy is said to be in the Vaman-avatar. So Vaman-avatar is basically a Brahmin, uh, and this avatar basically is very intelligent, and he defeats the Asura king Bali with his tact. So that kind of energy is shown in the Vaman-avatar. That level of intelligence, that tactfulness comes because the story of King Bali and Vaman is very interesting. So when Raja Bali, he was doing some yajna, and at the end of yajna he has to donate something to Brahmin, and that time Lord Vishnu in the avatar of Brahman, he goes there and he asks for, just give me 3 feet, the measure of land that you can that I can take with my 3 feet. So King Bali, he laughs and he says that this is nothing for me. I am king of the whole earth. You can take you can take it. And just then, so in the first stride he takes the earth, in the second stride he takes the heaven, and in the third stride he he just raises his leg, and Bali says, then you can take my head. And the he puts his feet under his on his head, and Bali is defeated. So you can see that this seemingly small stature Brahmin, and he becomes very big, very huge. So that shows the expansive power of Jupiter, because Jupiter is Akash Tattva, and Akash Tattva is like expansive. It expands everything, the whole universe, and all the universes, they are contained in that space element. So that level of expansion is shown by Vaman-avatar, and also the tactfulness, the wisdom, the intelligence, which is the main characteristic of Jupiter, that is shown in this story of Vamana. Then the next avatar is Kurma-avatar. Kurma-avatar is said to be having energy of Saturn, because Saturn shows lot of patience, and being at the fundamental of a very grand task, because Saturn rules the lowly caste people, the people of the lower strata, those labors, and and uh, and those menial tasks people, menial labors, those who run the society, and in absence of them everything will come to stand still. I heard a story. No, this is not a story. This is a real thing that happened. That once all the bankers in Europe, they went on strike, and for 3 months nothing happened. But once, even for one day, and all the sweepers in New York, they went to strike, and it was emergency situation in USA. So that is the level of importance for these lower strata people, that is represented by Saturn. So in Kurma-avatar is basically the turtle incarnation of Bhagwan Vishnu. And when Devas and Asuras, they started to do Samudra Mantana, and the Meru mountain became um, became the handle on which this churning will happen. So to provide base to this handle, Bhagwan Vishnu took Kurma-avatar, and he was at the base of this whole process. Without him, nothing would have happened, and he did not intend to get any benefit out of the whole thing. He just provided the basic support, the fundamental support to the whole process. So that is the beauty of Kurma-avatar. Okay, then Mercury. Okay, so Buddha is said to be incarnation of Lord Vishnu, and Buddha represents pure intelligence, pure wisdom. But there are not many mantras in Hinduism for Buddha. So instead of worshipping Buddha, people can directly worship Bhagwan Vishnu. They can chant Vishnu Sahasranam, Stotram. Then Matsya-avatar, the avatar incarnation of a fish. So Matsya-avatar is said to be having energy of Ketu, because Ketu is the Mokshkarak. And in the story of Matsya-avatar, the whole earth is flooded, and in that flood, only King Manu and the 7 rishis, the Sapta rishis, they were saved by the Matsya-avatar, so that the new world could be started. So when this world is flooded, then this is the only energy, that is the mokshkarak energy of Ketu, that can take the jiva to the other shore. They say that भाव सागर तारने के लिए जो मोक्ष की एनर्जी है, that is provided by Ketu, because Ketu is the moksha karak. So when sun and earth, they are aligned, then the shadow of earth, that shadow of earth is darkened at one point, that is Rahu, and at the exact opposite point where sun is, which is between sun and the moon, or which is between sun and the earth, that point becomes Ketu, and that point is bright, very bright. It is full of light. It doesn't have a zilch of desire. Whereas the Rahu point, it has lot of desires. It is dark. It is ignorance. So when the time of Ketu comes, then immediately one is drawn towards occult things, mystical things, spirituality. And if one is not directed or diverted toward spirituality, then the situations in the world will become such that it will be very painful for him. So those are just the lessons, that this world is not permanent. This is not your real abode. Your real abode, Ketu will take you to the real abode. By the Matsya-avatar, Ketu will take you to the next world, which is your real place. Then we have Parasuram-Avatar for Venus. So for it will not look very congruent, because Parashuram is said to be associated with war, and he was a warrior, but he was a Brahmin. He took by birth he was Brahmin, but he did the works of a Kshatriya, of a warrior class, because he fought battle with all the Kshatriyas, and he vanquished earth with all the Kshatriyas, some 21 times. So he is associated with this war and this Parashu, this weapon that he takes. And but then why is he associated with Venus? Because when he got bored with all his war, all his life he has fought and vanquished all the Kshatriyas from earth. He felt very, very empty and very sad, and in the end of his life, towards the end of his life, he took sannyas. He became a hermit, and he performed lot of penances. He did meditation, he did tapasya for several years, and then he attained the eternal bliss. So that bliss, that joy that he attained at the end of tapasya, that is the significance of Venus. Without Venus, nobody can get bliss. With just the energy of Ketu, you will be stranded, and you will leave the whole world. You will go in the Himalayas, you will do all the tapasya, you will do all the penances, but that sheer joy that comes as a result of recognizing your true nature, as a result of recognizing the Satchidanand Parabrahma, that will not come without the blessing of Venus. So that joy, that bliss he attained because of the Venusian energy that he had. So that's why he is associated with Venus. So as we see that there are um, so many stories related to these incarnations, and these stories sometimes they give us a clue. And uh, and basically in Vedic astrology there's there is a there are some rules, such as when Sun and Venus is together, then the energy of Venus is completely lost, because Sun is fire, and Venus is water. So all the water will be will just dry away with Sun. So when Sun and Venus is together, it is not considered to be a good combination, especially for marital lives. It is combination for having bachelorhood, so having no marriage in the life. So these things can be seen from stories like this, because Parasuram and Ram, Lord Rama and Lord Parashurama, they both were together at the same time. So both the avatar of Vishnu were together, but they were unaware of each other because they were in the body of Jiva. So when Lord Rama came to recognize, or Parashurama came to recognize that the new incarnation has come, then basically when they met, then the energy of Venus was lost, because Rama is Sun and Parashuram is Venus. So energy of Venus is lost, and Parashuram went to the Himalayas to perform the penances. So these stories they come, and these stories basically represent what is there in the Vedic astrology and how these rules are applied. Okay, so having said these incarnations, we should know what use it is when it comes to giving remedies, when it comes to um, taking some benefit out of it. So the thing is that if you are running the dasha of some planet, then that planet can give you positive results and it can give you negative results, depending on its lordship, its association, and its innate nature. Okay, so suppose you are having a bad time of Mars. So to alleviate that energy of Mars, that brutality and violence and anger of Mars, you can worship the Nrsimha Kavach. So Nrsimha Kavach will pacify the Martian energy. Okay. Likewise, if you are having dasha of Moon, and Moon is very good planet, it is giving you a lot of wealth. Suppose Moon is in the 11th house, giving you a lot of wealth, lot of gains, and you want to enhance that energy, you want to even have more, then you can have Krishna Ashtakam and you can have Krishna Bhajan. So those things will basically enhance the Moon even further. Okay. If you are not having kids and Sun is the fifth house lord, then you can, and the time of Sun is also going on, you can worship Lord Rama. You can chant Ram Raksha Kavach to enhance the fifth house effects. So likewise, depending on which house and which planet dasha is going on, you can enhance the results by um by chanting the stotra of, and various Sahasranam of every avatar has Sahasranam also. You can chant that Sahasranam also to enhance the benefits. Okay, so hope you liked it. Dhanyavad.